Listen, welcome to TFG tonight. I'm your host, Mr. Haynes. Everybody in that place, but once he out of here, guess what? Pop, and all of us coming down. That's why I had to go and talk about Ivanka right quick because they coming.
Oh,
you is,
and you know this is what I love about President Barack Hussein Obama. No matter what, he kept it 100.
I was just going to bring that up.
That's right. Yeah. So listen, if my company told me that I had to do something that I said, man, that's a little, we tripping. I mean, bro, half the country voted for a man that took diversity out of employment. Half the country voted for that man.
Ooh, what up, what up, what up? Guess what day it is? It's the day after Sunday. What happens on Mondays? I don't know, Clarice. You telling me. It's TFG tonight time. Y'all ready? Hey, good to see everybody. When y'all come in and say what's up, y'all know how we do this thing. We love them stickers, right? And we love them comments. So I need something out of both of y'all, right? Hey, Shantae. What's up? What up, bro? Y'all ready? I'm excited, man. It has been 7 days since we seen y'all, and I got so much to talk about. Y'all know how we do it. Let's get started. Let's keep up with old Donald J. What were you? No, we would call him DJ Trump. I don't know what we would call him. Whatever, it don't matter. Let's start out. Let's keep up with him. Y'all know what he did this week? He came out the hole. You say, what hole? Mar-a-Lago. Listen, he came out, but the problem is when he came out, he's still talking that old junk. You say, what old junk? So apparently, somebody got him to talk about the rioters on January 6th now, right? So him talking about the rioters on January 6th, you wouldn't believe what he said. Do you know what he said? I'll tell you what he said. You probably guess what he said, but I'm gonna tell you what he said. The man said they were having no problems, right? What you say? Got his plane here. He did well. They don't want it though. Remember, they said it was too jacked up. So I don't know what that's all about. But listen, ultimately, he said this. He said the people, the Patriots, on January the 6th, they wasn't doing nothing bad. They was hugging and kissing the police. I mean, you listen. You can't fix that, right? I mean, I've seen stupid people, and again, I don't know if it's stupidity or if it's a delusion, but I'm gonna pin that right there for just a second. Y'all know why? Because there's something else that I'm gonna have to come back to this statement about my boy Donald Trump, right? DJ Trumps was on the 1 and 2. I'm gonna have to pin that there because there's something that was really familiar to me, and we're gonna talk about this later on in the show. But I'm gonna bring this back up. This desire to just want to. I mean, how you gonna just keep the lie going, bro? I mean, you got the video, you got the audio, and you still want to say they were hugging and kissing. Well, what is this? Some S&M? I mean, is that the kind of hugging and kissing you talking about? They beating down? Okay, maybe. Yeah, okay. Y'all know. Listen, same Donald, old tricks. Ain't nothing changed. That's him for this week. I got a lot more we can talk about, but let's bring the family in. Let's bring the squad in. Y'all know what time it is, right? One of them still stuck in traffic, but whatever. Look at that. Mr. Black, we ain't talking about your coffee. Lady Rue, looking like a goo-goo doll today, I guess. That's what's going on this evening. All right. No problem. Goo-goo the Rue. That's what we're going to call it today, right? What's up, y'all? Y'all all right?
What's up?
Yeah,
how y'all doing?
Man, hey, I'm living in living color, right? You all right, man?
I'm peachy.
Oh, all right then. Well, let's go to Georgia. What y'all think about Donald, man? He just won't let the lie go. Yeah, I mean,
consistent.
Yeah, ain't he?
Consistent. You know, I give him credit for that, and same old record. You know, the reality is though, he thinks that's if he play that song long enough, it'll sustain him for the next 4 years. But he's going to find out that you have to come up with something new.
Is he? It's been the scheme been working all his life.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson, what's up, brother?
But life and time has a way.
Yeah. You're right. I guess. What you think, madam?
Look, I'm with y'all. He consistent with it. I really do believe that he thinks like a part of the rest of that percentage that believes Antifa did it and it wasn't. I feel like he's just gonna jump that bandwagon and say it wasn't us, it was the Democrats, it wasn't Antifa, it was those liberals, it was everybody but us. Y'all
know what's so funny? Y'all know we're talking about Sesame Street tonight, and it's so funny that we talk about Sesame Street tonight because y'all gonna see this running theme of delusion, right? That we're just gonna see all throughout the show tonight. This willful ignorance, this ability to pee on my feet and tell me it's raining, and y'all mean it. And I don't know, maybe is that a part of privilege that you could just say what you want to say no matter what?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, interesting. Well, listen, I get an A for effort for that one. I just made that up in my head.
Yep.
Oh, all right, we got a lot to talk about, y'all. Let's go. Oh, so here we are already. Sidney Powell, running theme, intentional delusion. It's like, what is going on? For those of y'all that don't know who Sidney Powell is, she's a Karen, right? She's definitely a Karen. And Karen Powell, Sidney, alias Sidney, she was one of the lawyers that was pushing this whole voter fraud for Trump, right? And when she was pushing all this voter fraud for Trump, it was cool while it was Trump was in office. But here it comes the dawn of a new day, and now all of a sudden she want to make it seem like y'all knew I was playing. What? So and what happened was somebody sent them papers in. Right, and they sent them to the 12th district, and they said, "Hey, we won't holler at her for a second." And she said, "What? You knew I was playing. What? Stop playing. You knew I was playing. What you mean stop playing, bro?" She had a nerve to say this. She said, "Listen, there is no reasonable person that would ever conclude that voter fraud claims was a statement of facts." That's literally what she's saying now. That y'all want me to call y'all dumb, or y'all really thought I was being serious?
That would imply that it wouldn't be just from one side. You can assume that if one party would commit voter fraud, then another party could do the same thing if it's possible. So, I mean, she got to clean it up to protect her job if she wants to keep her position. So,
well, she won't keep more than that.
Do what she gotta
money.
Do. Yeah.
Lee, is it bait and switch time? Is it what? Sleight of hand? What is it?
I think it's more serious than that. When I hear them, I'm sorry, guys. To me, it's a level of insidiousness that makes me sick to my stomach because what we learned in his administration all 4 years, he literally, you talked about Brenton peeing on your feet and telling somebody it's raining. Under his administration, he turned truth upside down. We literally, for over 4 years, because he started when he was running for the presidency, he literally created an atmosphere where right is wrong, left is right, a lie is no longer a lie, and it rubbed it off and trickled down to the people, his sycophants who supported him. So when I look at what she's did, and to come out now that he's no longer the president, and all of a sudden to make those comments, there's such a lack of accountability that for all of those people that escaped, let's guys think about the millions of dollars that was spent on the different investigations when right in front of our eyes, we know he committed acts that any other person would have been locked up for. The so-called perfect call, the Russia investigation, and literally messing with our voting. They did things on that election where they were actually removing mailboxes. They were so irresponsible. They was going out telling people that there was fraud in voting, and to come now in the clear light of day, even though this very administration, they're responsible for 500,000 people dying, and to now say, oh, I was just playing.
Yeah.
The level of indecency and insidiousness is sickening to me, to my stomach. All of these people need to be prosecuted.
You know, I love when Lee come and make us get serious, because, you know what I'm saying, you're right. It's no need to play with that thing, right? As silly and asinine as it is, it's no need to play. So you're right. Ultimately, what this is, man, in my opinion, I want to say it correctly. How can I say this? Okay, I don't know how to say it right. Y'all just work with me. So in my opinion, what they're doing is, you remember, okay, I'll give an analogy. We all know the young man who mama put him on the cover of Jet magazine, right? Emmett Till, right? And it was all because a woman decided to tell a lie who was Caucasian, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, regardless, if they say the bill that they passing right now for the voter is 21st century Jim Crow, but then Sidney Powell is 21st century, you know, the accuser of Emmett Till.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's real, and I'm with you.
Beautiful analogy.
Why are we trusting that type of voting process anyway? I guess is my question. Maybe I'm a little bit naive but I wouldn't believe anything about mail-in ballots or anything that you can't physically see where it's going. I mean, I never trusted it anyway. So at some point, I feel like we need to take some accountability for ourselves. At the fact that they're hollering about voter fraud is, you know, did somebody mess with some stuff? That to me doesn't matter. It's the fact that you trusted that process in the first place. Like, you had that much trust in our government to think that mail-in ballot counted.
Go ahead, bro.
So, Rule, it only became a problem when it went against the Republicans. So this is the issue.
Yep.
Literally up until this election, we never heard about any issues with mail-in votes and
absentee
things
ballots.
Like that. Matter of fact,
but never heard about it. It doesn't mean that it never happened.
No.
This again, we have to think about politics in the form of optics.
But my point is, it only became an issue in voter fraud when they discovered that mail-in ballots was heavily leaning towards Biden. And here's the problem with that. Realistically, had Donald Trump not told his voters to not mail in their votes, he would be the president right now. He literally cut off his nose despite his face. He was so convinced that his people physically shows up, and being the sycophant that he is, he feeds off of live crowds. He told his people, do not put your faith in mail-in ballots. But once he saw that he was losing, all of a sudden, there's something wrong with those ballots, and dead people are voting. It only became an issue when it went against him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is some 74 million people. To your point, Rule, that why would you put your faith in that? There's 74 million idiots. See, we're too politically correct in this world now to call an idiot an idiot. You have 74 million people, and I'm not saying every last one of them, but by and large, people that lived off every word that dropped out this man's mouth. Anytime you got a president that could tell you that you can't get sick, you're not going to die, but you watch him take the vaccine,
Yes, sir. Hey, put your gun down, Doc. Put your gun down. Hold on.
Okay, that part I do agree with.
Yeah.
Like, you go sit. He tells you don't take the vaccination, but then he gets vaccinated.
He takes it.
That makes perfect sense to me.
You know, hey, like they say, who's a bigger dummy? The fool doing the trick, or the one that's believing the trick is being done? I mean,
yes,
you know, who the bigger fool, right? It's where it is, and you know, like you're saying, man, the absentee voting, all of that stuff wasn't a problem. That's matter of fact where his people came from. Matter of fact, that's how George Bush won in 2004. right? From guess what? Absentee voting. Yeah, because right, they thought they had that in the bag until all those votes came in, and they was like, "Where did these people come from?"
Yep.
And now all of a sudden it ain't no good. But you know, it's the good old boy system. So and again, y'all, this is what I want to say to everybody who's watching us. We can't ask them to stop playing the game that they created, right? There's no way for us to ask them to change football into football. Y'all catch that?
I did.
There's a football in America.
I did.
Everybody else in the world calls football soccer. I mean, we call football soccer, while the other world call it football. It makes sense because the way you play the game is putting your foot on the ball. I mean, so it makes sense. So why are we now asking America to now stop calling football soccer when that's the way they want to play it? They made their own rules. They made the system, and all we have to do is play in it. And unfortunately, we're trying to make them change the game instead of just playing it within the rules. And yeah, it's hard. It's just not easy. And I'm with y'all on it. All right, good stuff. Y'all ready? Let's keep it moving. Uh-oh. Black farmers. Now listen, I want to do they only give to the soul food restaurants. I don't know. I'm just playing.
Oh Lord.
I'm just playing. I'm teasing. Maybe they give them a Dollar General or something. I don't know. Okay, anyway, listen. So let's talk about this. This has kind of got swept under the rug, and I felt like it was necessary for us to just bring it up just as a FYI. So, you know, Donald Trump was really praising the farmers like his last year in office. He was like, man, farmers, China did this, that, and the third to y'all. I'm going to get y'all paid. You know what I'm saying? But the crazy part is when the new administration came in, guess what? It's unfortunate that you always got to put black behind something instead of just naming it what it is. Black farmers, black athletes, black Americans. It's everything always has to be identified with the word black, right? So it is what it is. But the interesting thing is that this is so crazy. Would black farmers be upset if they got $20.8 million? Would that be a problem? Like you would think that was amazing, right? That they got that. But then the problem is that when you look at what everybody else got, you like, what? So $20.8 million was actually 1% of, I'm gonna let you have it, was 1% of what actually the relief fund was, which was, y'all ready for this? 26 billion. Okay, go on. You ready? Ready to change this out? Let's go.
Well, I guess I had a question in regards to that because, okay, so from what I was seeing, I have to do when you throw out numbers like that, it confuses me because I don't math, bro. But but from what I was looking at, all right, you got 3.4 million. Let's see, 3.4 million farmers in America.
That's right.
Right.
In the United States. That's right.
Okay, and we only account for 45,000 of those farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So what is that? Like
1.3%.
Okay, so of course that's how much money they would get.
Okay, I like it. I'm
confused. I don't know. Maybe my math is off. We gotta get statistics right. If we're gonna put numbers out there, we gotta make sure that it's like we're not trying to say it. It's like, well, we didn't get nothing. You have to think about maybe who actually filed for it, who actually wanted it, and then of course I want to say debt to income, like your black farmers versus white farmers. Like our farmers like have steadily declined. Like we had a lot of black farmers back in the day. We built this nation. So that has steadily declined from years ago. Now what I'm looking at is like, okay, this versus this, how much did we actually get? And was it unfair? Was it unfairly distributed in reality?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my question.
Yes, ma'am. Because your analogy would only be fair or make sense if it was based on how many farmers it is. It's not based on that. It's based on the fact that you are a farmer and you're in need. So you can't penalize them just because it's so few of them.
I love this balance, man. It's
You
nice.
understand what I'm saying? So my thing is,
Okay.
for the record, all of them needed the help. So
Right.
look at it from this.
You
Look
guys
at it from this.
requested?
Absolutely. So look at it from this
Okay.
analogy. Imagine if a tornado came through your community and it destroyed 100 houses on your street. Now, of that 100, what if only 10 of them belong to black families? And FEMA came out and says that we're going to give you money to rebuild your house. And they got to Mr. Johnson and Mr. Wesley and Mr. Coakley and Mr. So-and-so. But when they got to you, since you're African American, now imagine if they got to every house and they gave them $100,000. But they said, they came to your house and said, well, it's only 10 of you on the street, so we're going to give you $20,000. They're going to penalize you because it's only 10 houses on a street that had 100 homes, even though every house needs to be rebuilt. That's essentially what's happening. All farmers were affected. They all put in for the funds.
Oh,
But here's the thing. Absolutely, because here's what you got to look at. The game is always rigged against us. Think about how, remember when we had the subprime lending? I was a subprime lender once upon a time.
Wow.
And the housing crisis.
Yeah.
Remember once upon a time, I'm telling my age here now, when people used to file for bankruptcy. I remember, short story. I remember living on the street. I'm married, me and my wife, we working every day. We look all around the neighborhood, all these white people don't work and they got new trucks and new cars, and we thinking, how in the hell they getting ahead?
Chapter 11.
You know, but they were filing Chapter 11, and when you walk into that court as a white person filed Chapter 11, you get to keep everything that you have, and it's protected. And once black people caught on to the system, they changed the rules. The same thing happened as a subprime lender. For 25 years, white people were evaluating their homes at an elevated level where Countrywide and Bank of America was giving them prime numbers on their homes. So once black people figured out that we can do this, they changed the game. They're always ahead of us once we catch on to something.
We see the running theme tonight, right?
So whenever they come up with a program and it's all these, it sounds great on the surface. What you have to realize, behind the scenes, they've had such a head start on us. They know how to apply and have that money funneled to them. So when you asked about numbers, Rue, 20 billion versus 20 million, essentially they got 1% of the funds that was available.
Okay, so let me balance it out, because I think you both presented a great point for both sides. And listen, y'all, this is why I love talking with them, right? Because it presents the full perspective. And so my thing is to bring the balance, right? Although I agree with Lee, right, that it was 1%, all of them were in need, and I hear Rue. But if it's 1% of the population, then did they not give it out, disperse it correctly? I hear both sides. This is my problem. We've been so put through the ringer so much that even when we think they're being fair to us, we think we're being mistreated. And it's fair because why? History teaches us that it was that way. And the problem is, and I'm gonna be honest, and this is on Lee. Lee, I'm gonna tell you right now, everybody wasn't in the same amount of need. But the problem with that is that it was going to look right if I give the percentage, the amount for the percentage. But if the 1% of those in need had 55% of the damage, then why not make everybody whole on the level? That's the problem with us. That's the problem why we wouldn't do that, right? Because if Mr. Johnson that had the farmland, on 15 acres, and then you got Mr. Williams, and he owns 150 acres. Mr. Johnson lost all his, and Mr. Williams only lost a third of his. Well, then why wouldn't we want to make them both whole? Right? But that means you got to give them more money. And so here you are, Joe, overcorrecting with them, right? And sending more money to the people. Again, it's the running theme, right? When we figured out how to vote, absentee, we start doing it. They want to change the rules, right? Like you said, when they start figuring out how to get involved with the mortgage, they change the rules. There's another one. When I'm gonna tell y'all real talk. Yeah, that one too. Here's another one.
You realize black folks was living longer.
That's right. When black people started becoming foster parents, they changed the rules. Real talk. And I'm not even playing. They changed the rules, right? Because everybody could get away with everything. But now all of a sudden it was about the money. Well, it was about the money when y'all first started. It's always been about the money. I don't know nobody that want to take care of somebody else's kids for free. Never. If you did it for free, there would be a whole bunch of kids in the world. So I'm just saying.
Spousal support. I forgot about that one too.
Oh,
all of it's rigged.
Listen, that's why they like
you no longer get the your husbands, your late husbands or wives. Yeah.
Football in America is not the same football in the world because why? Because they can move the goalposts whenever they get ready. Phew, on to the next one. Yep. I'm out.
And I love your example. And the only thing I'm saying is you're right. But if you're gonna make everybody whole, don't tell me though that you should be glad that we gave you anything. That's my problem. Because that's what they do to us, that hey, you should be glad you got something out of it. No.
Yeah. Well, hey, I put on my white face. Thank you. No problem. Yes, I'm grateful. Run me my money. All right, let's go to the next one, man. This is getting good today. Knocking while y'all know, everybody know, right? Y'all remember the game we used to play when you was at the you spend the night. Y'all know what kind of knocking we used to do, right? Y'all know what she was over there doing, right? She was over there knocking.
Look,
right?
I was good at it too.
Was you good at it? I was.
Yeah, I was a little Speedy Gonzalez, man. I'll be like,
was black ball got 10%? Yeah,
correct.
They did. They got 1%, not 10%. They got 1%. You took out running. That's funny. Yeah. So this young lady got caught knocking. Right. I gotta keep it 100. So apparently, she knocked on the wrong, because you can knock on the wrong door and get caught slipping, right? So evidently she got caught knocking on the wrong door, y'all. So here's the story. Her name is Parks, right? If I'm not mistaken. I can't think of her. If somebody can hit me with her full name, I don't remember her name, but I think we got the picture. So apparently she got caught knocking on one of her constituents' door when they were getting ready to sign the articles concerning the voter changes, right? Some of them say discrimination, some say making adjustments. So whatever. So she wanted to come in, and she started knocking on the door. And as she started knocking on the door, there were 2 officers that were there, right? And those 2 officers, they were really on their job. And you say, wow, well, she was knocking on the door. She wasn't visiting. She actually worked there. And last time I checked, there's nothing wrong with people being in the room when others are signing things in the law. They said no. So guess what they did? They put them good old metal bracelets on her, right? And put them behind her back and walked her off. And I thought this was funny because you say, well, what is knocking while white? Well, the problem is, a few months ago, a few guys came knocking on some more doors, and nobody was nowhere to be found. I want to know where those 2 officers was when the other boys was knocking January 6th, right? I mean, and she was being so nice. These jokers had wood planks, they had poles, spears. Listen, they were breaking down doors. So my thing is, again, we're talking about how people are being treated here, right? And how it looks different. And this is why when you hear something being done without giving full equity, but you're trying to make things fair, then it looks a certain type of way. But you guys have to stop doing stuff like this so that when you do give people money, that you're doing it fairly. Nobody says, nah, man, America's doing better now. They're not treating people like that. Because this right here is confusing to us, right? Where you can have 2 different situations, total separate ends of the spectrum, 2 different outcomes. Do y'all know that people walked out of the Capitol after they called off the dogs? Almost like it was the 10 minutes before the store was closing. You got 10 minutes to bring your groceries up to the front. We're closing up, and they just let them out. What y'all think? Y'all think this was right?
I mean, we already know ain't nothing right.
Okay.
And I don't know. I just wish people would be a little bit more compassionate, like, or just pay attention to the world. Like, you'll have some of those people that understand climate change, but I don't know what world. I don't know. Maybe people are just so self-absorbed that they don't realize, hey, this may look bad. Don't do this, or maybe we could do this a certain. Maybe people need to learn situational awareness a little bit better. I don't know.
Well, Trump took diversity out of the businesses, so there that go.
It's just weird to me, like the times that we're living in, and I feel like I've reached that generation, like how I made fun of my grandma back in the day, you know, like why she act like that? Now I'm like, I feel like I'm my grandma, like I'm looking at everybody like, why is y'all acting like that? Y'all ignorant as hell. What's wrong with y'all? It's the same thing here. It's like you couldn't read the room, not do that. Period. Just think.
I'm not
think
surprised.
What this would look like.
Yep.
I'm not surprised. Not even a little bit. I personally believe we're living in a more racist time now than in the 60s. I think it's been dressed up more. I think we're not even as better off as we were in the 60s because we don't have any true political leaders like we did. There's no Malcolm X running around. There's no Martin Luther King. There's no Medgar Evers, you know. But I think that because we have elected a African-American president, you know, we've made some strides, a few gains, you know, economically and things like that. I think sometimes we get comfortable into thinking that we've crossed over into, you know, a better place when, for me, I walk out figuratively my door every day recognizing that I'm a black man and I'm a hunted species. How they see me. And I never ever forget that. I covet being in my four walls because this is the only place where I have some physical safety. And D.L. Hewley said the one place that you can't take up space is up here. So these are the two things that I can control, my mental space and my physical space. But I never forget and believe that what's going on the outside is equitable and they're going to treat me fairly and things like that. There would not have been a Donald Trump if we had crossed over into a better time. All Donald Trump really did was expose the true underbelly of America. That it's so ugly, it never went away, and it's not going away. So when I look at incidents like this, it's par for the course. I understand it. I'm more disappointed that people think that we've changed and grown that much when we really haven't.
Yeah, it's just a big circle. What's up, bro? Welcome, brother.
We keep doing the same thing over again. What up?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you jump in here in just a second, but I want to say this to Lee's point. You know, here I go again with these analogies. I know people hate me giving analogies, but whatever. Y'all know what y'all can do with that, right? So listen, a ball revolves and the earth revolves. One just revolves a little slower than the other. And that's the same thing when it comes to us, right? Like you're saying about things not changing. There are people who live this optimistic, always seeing the glass half full, and they say, "Oh no, we're doing better." Everybody's not like that no more until that revolution from the earth come, and then you like, oh well, wait a minute, this ain't that good, right? But you say, I think we were better off when the racism was fully and completely demonstrated instead of now. Yeah, well, they put a lot of money behind it, right? And it's a lot more of us that are willing to turn a blind eye to it, right? Because interracial marriages are rising, right? And I don't go there. I ain't Lee yet. I ain't going there, but I got no problem with it. I'm just saying these things are becoming distractions for the truth, because it's very hard for a person to want to then stand up for their own culture of people when they have a relationship with somebody that's not in their culture, right? That comes across differently. So there's what we call it, that's a conflict of interest there. So you have that, and that's just real. And again, not all white people are bad, and not all black people are good. But I'm just saying it really muddies the water more when you can't do that, right? Because listen, for me, if you white and you my friend, just know we are having these conversations, right? And I'm doing that. Just know, y'all, every person that think that they my friend and they white, we do talk. Yeah, they may not like it sometimes, but we do talk. Yeah, we talks now. What's up,
say
man?
what I want.
I know you do. I know you do. What's up, dude?
I have
What you got to
plenty
say?
of conversations.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Good to see you, my brother. Good to see you.
Hey,
All right.
hey, what's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
Let's get into this thing.
Good. You better liven up. You here?
Say
hey.
what? Oh, my face
You better
still
liven
hurts.
up. You here? Hey.
Oh, you got that Kanye? You're gonna do the war? Or
Yeah, kind
no?
of sort of. So it still kind of hurts a little bit sometimes.
Right
Plus I
on.
mean I still got concussion protocol. So yeah.
All right, man. Well, just be eye candy tonight. We'll
Nah,
just
I mean
listen to your name.
I got some
You
things
can
to
do
say,
that.
you know.
You got some stuff to say?
I'll give
All
up
right.
my spot
Yeah.
for a little while.
Hmm.
I'll give up my
listen,
spot.
man.
You can have
All right,
it.
honey. All right. All right, let's get to the next one. We got more stuff to talk about. Let's get it. All right, so listen, here's our next topic, madam. Is she with us? Okay. All right. I want to say this one. My wife told me she wanted me to stop watching this today. Right? I really couldn't. Day one of Derek Chauvin. I don't know why people keep saying George Floyd. George Floyd is not on trial. George Floyd had a funeral. He dead. So that's number one. Let's stop talking about George Floyd. This ain't his trial. This is Derek Chauvin's trial, right? And so, did y'all watch it? Because I'm going to tell y'all, if y'all didn't watch it, I'll break it down.
I watched bits and pieces. Yeah.
Did you? Okay. Well, so listen, they had 3 witnesses today. One of the things I noticed that was really annoying to me, every time, well, I will say this, they showed, so apparently where we kept saying 8 minutes and 46 seconds, nah, man, the trial said this joker was on his neck they said he's on his neck for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. And they showed the whole thing. And that was very hard for me to keep seeing that, right? Like, I understood why the bystanders won't do nothing. I just glad I wasn't there, because I don't think I could have just waited. I'd have just elbowed the dude and get off of him, man. At least, I don't know. I don't know. I just I couldn't, especially if I knew him. Like if that was one of my partners,
Right.
yeah, it'd have been 2 down, something like that. I just can't see that. But Chauvin kept writing on his notepad, when everybody was talking. I'm like, what you doing? You trying to read something in your jail cell tonight? What you doing? What you gonna be bored or something? Just kept on, man. And then another thing that really bothered me was the prosecutor showed the tape, and then when the defense come up there for their opening arguments, they refused to even acknowledge the tape. They wouldn't even acknowledge the tape. Matter of fact, their first words was, "Use your logic.
Mhm.
Use logic."
Yep.
It's like, y'all think this Rodney King? What do y'all think this is a VHS tape? Yeah. Man, it's got so many angles, man. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing, and I'm gonna let y'all have it, and we'll open it up for dialogue. One thing that I thought was really tough is it's amazing what you don't know until stuff starts coming out. So one of the 911 dispatchers was actually looking at the thing on tape as it was happening real time, and she actually said something that was so crazy that if they don't convict this dude, man, Minneapolis gonna turn into the next Sodom and Gomorrah. Somebody blowing that place up. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. This woman that was working, she saw them on George Floyd, and she was seeing the video in real time. And she actually asked some of her coworkers, she said, "Did the frame freeze?" She said, because nobody was moving and all the guys were just on him. And they wasn't moving, they were just leaning on him. And so her first thought was, she said, something's wrong. She picks up the phone, y'all. Watch this. She picks up the phone and she calls the sergeant of the precinct and she says, "Hey, I know I may be a snitch or something, but I think your boys down here doing something they ain't got no business doing." They actually had that recorded and they played it. This is real time conversation. And I said, if y'all can't see that everybody and their mama know it was wrong, but the dummies that was there. Okay, y'all, what y'all think? I'm sorry.
I mean, what's there to think? You know, when the devil is due, pay the devil is due. I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, everybody know these people were. This man was crooked. Everybody know this man did what he did. And if you stupid enough to believe that that the police force doesn't care about black people, I'm gonna need you to go back to kindergarten, first grade, man, because it's just that simple. I mean, the facts are facts, and they're gonna find a way to settle or come up with a reason that this is justified, and kind of pay us to shut up and be quiet. So it's like we say in the military, shut up and color. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They're trying to find a way to make us shut up and color.
Well, it's just the beginning, bro. Because the cops they coming for him in this trial, man. Like the prosecutor was like, "Hey, the chief finna say something about him. Some of his officer buddies finna say something about him." So they finna break the code on this trial. I mean,
they should. I mean, they should. If they want their lives to be safe, and if they want to make it on the streets of Minneapolis, they better snitch.
Well, go ahead. Who's next? Yeah.
So did
like
you?
Rule. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
No, you can go ahead and go first. I'll go last.
Go last.
Okay. Like I was gonna say, like Rule, I only watched bits and pieces of it. And I can't believe I'm gonna reference Medgar Evers a second time in this conversation. But during the Medgar Evers trial, Medgar's brother, he refused to attend the trial. You know, famously saying that if he ever was in the same room as Byron De La With, he'd pretty much kill him. For me, I cannot watch the footage over again. It's humane. I only wanted to see the opening arguments. I viewed it as a heavyweight bout. I love boxing. So whenever I'm watching a boxing match, I like the best part almost of the fight sometimes is when the two fighters meet face to face, and I want to see who blinks, where's the fear, and I want to see how they start. So here you are, the prosecutors, they're laying out what we all know. The defense, to your point, Brenton, is telling you, like, they wouldn't acknowledge the video because that's in their best interest for us to forget what your eyes saw. No, we never paid attention to that. And instead, use your brains, because and common sense would tell you this man wouldn't have done this if he hadn't had all this coke in the system and this and that and blah, 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 blah. So here's my only thing. I'm just waiting for it to end. Let's assume that everything the defense says is correct. Let's assume he was a coked up, doped up maniac running loose who spit a fake $20 bill and wouldn't get out the car. Let's assume all of that's true. What does that have to do with the inhumane part about somebody putting the full brunt of his weight on his neck while he screamed and begged for his life while he died? Then you want me to believe that the officer who's so greatly trained in everything else, his years of service, how he has exemplary this, that, and he noticed everything, but he casually didn't notice that a man was dying under his knee? So even after you apply all of the stupidity, and I want to curse so bad, it's hurting me on the inside to not be able to say it in a
appreciate that. I appreciate it.
But you want me to believe all of that, and even if all of that was correct, this is all window dressing. At the end of the day, common sense is, where was your humanity when this man was dying? And I just want to wait till the end because once we finish to Wayne's part, coloring in the lines, what's going to happen? What's real? But the truth of the matter is, we are not valued as human beings.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I mean, I don't know where everybody else been. I know you just came on, but they've been a little slow to the plate today. So I appreciate you starting us off, though. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
I'm done. I'm sorry.
Go on, Google.
I can't watch it. I'm a peek in here and there, but it's only gonna fire me up. Brenton, your wife might be right. That man, I don't know how you're gonna watch all of this.
Man, this is my third trial, man, in the last decade, right? Botham Jean. I can't remember this one. And
O.J. Simpson.
No, ain't no sir. No, he did it. I don't care what nobody say. Go on.
Hey, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah,
true. That's true too.
That's why he died. That's why he died. Go on, Ru.
So I'm like probably a lot like a lot of folks that can't sit there and watch it over and over again because it's really hard to watch. But I'm trying to think of a way to put this in a perspective where it don't really ruffle too many feathers. Okay, let's put it in the perspective of, okay, what if it's not a race thing? The guy already had complaints on him. He already had the reputation of being how he was. Where were the psych evals? Why was he still out on the street? Why didn't anybody do anything standing there? So I feel like there was a lot of things that just went wrong. So if we're not even looking at it from a racial point, it's a humanity. It is. It's very inhumane to not even think, if you're a trained person, that this much pressure wouldn't affect somebody that you had your knee on. It doesn't make sense to me. You are trained. I've done a little martial arts, and I know that this much pressure on someone's carotid artery right here can do some damage. It's little bit of amount of pressure in a chokehold to put somebody to sleep, make them go night-night. You ever, we joke about this stuff, talking about, oh, you ready to go night-night? It's true. We used to do as a kid, look, doing stupid things as kids. We used to try to make each other go to sleep, ready, pass out. So we would choke each other to see how long it would take to go night-night. And it was funny. I think it was like 12-year-old, 14-year-old stuff. So we knew at 12 and 11 and 10 that if you put this much pressure, I don't know how much I can stress that, this much pressure on somebody's neck, that it will make them pass out. How can a trained individual not know this? Not even think that, hey, maybe I shouldn't put my knee here. Hey, maybe if there's a bunch of people surrounding me, watching me, that I would be a little bit more aware of my behavior and how my actions may be perceived by an audience.
Yeah, I wish
that didn't register to him.
Yeah, I wish his shades had just moved just a little bit. That made me feel a little bit better.
Man,
right? I feel legit, bro. That, I wish it's. I mean, it just, it's almost like, how do you think you're a winner when it's almost, this is so funny. They was like he was a threat, but at the same time they trying to argue that he was about to go night anyway because he was doped up. It's like, how can you be a threat and ready to die? You can't be both.
Okay, well, even with that, if you feel like somebody was under the influence,
look,
you felt like somebody was under the influence.
This ain't the biggest small, see, ready to die.
Right. Oh, go what you got, Martin?
So, what I was gonna say was, it's like we asked the question of how somebody can't think to be humane, and then let's ask the question of how can people think to be humane. We just had a situation in Colorado where this this Joker was walking around a store, dang near naked, shooting people.
Yeah.
And they walked him.
I saw that too.
They walked him right on out of there in handcuffs and you know, and the same thing about the kid in South Carolina. They gave that little white boy dog a freaking burger in the back of the car. So you want to talk? You want to talk about humane? You want to talk about how can somebody be inhumane? It's simple. Look at your skin color. That's why they can be inhumane.
Well, they inhumane.
But that's
all
what
of
I'm
them.
saying.
And if they used to think that a horse was worth more than us,
Yep.
what you really think? What you really think is gonna change in 2021?
But that's what I'm saying. What I was getting at is why wasn't his department more accountable for him? Because that's a liability issue. You want to talk about departments getting money? Like, how are you going to keep getting money if your people are acting in this manner? I'm sure if he had a track history and if he had a history, at some point somebody would have said he's bad for business. I'm still not understanding. Like, why are people holding them accountable for that?
No,
because in the police, in the law enforcement field, it is
the abuse is systemic.
It is a brotherhood. It is a system that you don't snitch on your own. If you
What's up, Lisa B?
If you do, you
don't have to snitch on. You can fire them.
Oh,
you can fire them.
Thank you.
Period.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I mean, and you got to think about the fact.
Thank you, Lisa B.
We appreciate it, Lisa. And you gotta think about the fact that, like, they're not gonna do that. Why? Because I'm gonna give you this analogy. Once you know where the body's at, and then you know the person that put the body there, and then you know the person that gave you the instrument to put the bodies there, and then you know the person that gave you the instrument that knew where the bodies was at, that had the extra things in the closet to put the bodies there, to give you the lime and the lawn darts to put the bodies where they at.
Yeah, you taking off years off your life.
You really think they're gonna check that, man?
Yeah.
Nah.
So you're saying with more power and more authority equals more corruption?
Absolutely.
Well,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I mean, great. You just got an A for today. Thank you. But listen, this is the two worst things that I'm taking from this moment, right? I don't know what's worse. A prosecutor that tries to convict an innocent man, or a defense attorney who tries to argue a guilty client. I don't know which one is worse. But what's so interesting about this, right, is that what you say, I don't even know why we still asking why. And I agree with you, right? But the thing about this is again goes back to what we were saying about DJ Trump earlier, right? Which is the fact that people, when you have made the rules to the game, you can do whatever you want to do.
Do
right?
whatever you want.
You can say that you want to say. So I don't know what's worse, right? And what's so crazy? Again, here's the theme, the running theme, right? Is they had two autopsies. How can two people in the same field have two different conclusions if y'all operating on facts? Oh, I know, because it's alternative facts now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I got it. So the family got to get a fact, and then the company got to get a fact. Well, then which one is our? See, this is the game we got to play. So you're right. Why are we still talking about it? It's not really we're talking about it. It's the fact that I'm trying to get everybody hip to the game. We got to stop asking them to change football into soccer. We should learn how to play it.
Okay. It's like this thing. It's like this thing here. You know, hey, Lee, this is how it go. So I get that you did this, but this is what you're gonna say.
That's right.
I get that this happened, and I know for a fact that you're in the wrong. But this is what we're gonna say. How about it really happened like this? That's how they continue. I mean, it's a systemic process, and it's never gonna change. It's all about how you write it.
That's why it needs an overhaul.
So y'all don't think this bill? Okay, so you don't think both bill is gonna have an effect on how this trial turns out?
We don't think what?
Okay, so I know like we were talking about this goes into police reform. So if there was a bill that was supposed to have been passed going towards police reform, with those laws that are being put in place for that, help with him getting a conviction on this trial.
Nothing's gonna change.
it's just
It
noise.
depends.
It's just noise to keep us from moving
It's
on.
just
Correct.
it's
Nothing's
that
gonna change.
it's that shut up and color thing.
Nothing's
It's
gonna
like
change.
it's like an echo. You'll hear it real good, but the farther it gets out, the more faint it gets.
We just had two more shootings, mass shootings, and they still won't even remotely even think about
agree,
gun
Lisa.
control. It's just noise.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And you know,
It's too much money involved.
and you know something else, and I have to speak on my own personal experience. What happened to me? If I didn't know my homie that's in the police department, do you really think they would have done it? Do you really think they even give a crap about what happened to me? It's two. You know how they look at it? Oh, that was two N words. And we ain't got to worry about them. But if I was white, I guarantee you they would have fixed it just that fast. Like that.
Yeah. Yep. But we're not helping either, y'all. So I don't want to get in that part because it'll take us down a rabbit hole. All right, so let's go to the next thing. Listen, this is so interesting to me, but I don't know. I have mixed emotions. I think we all at least seen Sesame Street. At least everybody know who Big Bird. Well, you better know who Elmo is, right? Because your kids was doing the Elmo dance for the longest time, right? Okay, so well, if y'all don't know what's going on, let's roll the video and let's see what's up. Let's talk about it.
Why Russ's skin is brown? Oh, I know why, Elmo. My mom and dad told me. It's because of melanin. Right, Dad?
That's right.
Melanin? What's that?
Well, melanin is something that we each have inside our bodies that make the outside of our bodies the skin color that it is. It also gives us our eye and our hair color.
Oh, and our fur color?
Yes, that's right. Exactly, Elmo.
Sesame Workshop unveiled the two black characters Tuesday as part of its ongoing racial justice initiative, Coming Together, providing free digital content to help parents spark meaningful conversations about race.
Who wants to go first? I ain't ready.
I'll go.
I just got a question. Why is his nose purple?
Okay, it's Sesame Street, guys.
I don't want to answer that.
When I grew up on Sesame Street, I really didn't need for them to break it down to me because it was multicultural already as it was, and even if it, you know, what's his name? Dang it! It was a few black folks up on there, but it was the culture of it that you knew it wasn't just for white people, huh?
I said not the real black people.
It was black folks on there.
I'm
in
saying,
the 80s, 90s.
It wasn't no Muppets on there.
That's Sesame Street.
I know. If you was black, you was actually yellow, like the Simpsons. Like the Simpsons supposed to be black, but they were yellow.
It's kind of implied.
And then on top of that, like, you know, let's look.
Lisa nailed it. Lisa answered your question, Wayne, and that's where I'm going with it. His nose is purple because he's a freaking Muppet. That's why. For me, this is overkill of going down a very slippery slope.
Gordon, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, because somebody raised the better question.
That's his name, Rue.
Oh, somebody raised the better.
Thank you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Somebody raised a better question. That if there was a need to self-identify the puppets as black, so all these other years, Elmo and Big Bird and Grouchy, so are we then to assume that all along they're all white? Because if we have to pinpoint that these two are black, so that are we to assume? So to me, it's a slippery slope because we're so politically correct right now that we have to step in every arena and boycott books, and The Cat in the Hat is bad, and the book to saying about an Asian face is bad, and now you're telling me the Muppets is bad because a few years ago they told us that Ernie and Bert was really gay and living together.
Come on,
When
Doc.
I was a kid and I tuned in to watch the Muppets and Zoom and all these, Saturday morning, and I'm running, I'm watching TV. I'm just watching TV, guys, folks. I
Exactly.
I don't want you screwing with my mentality at that age to tell me I need to be thinking about whether Bert is bending Ernie over. I'm keeping it clean, and
Thank you.
whether somebody is black or white. They're Muppets, for God's sake. Just
Yes.
entertain me. But we're
Yes.
so politically incorrect that we have to touch base on everything.
Yeah.
They done screwed up my Marvel movies for the same reason, that to entertain the female demographic, you got to make them superheroes and this and that. Leave my Superman alone. Leave my
That's
Okay,
heroes
that's not
alone.
true
DC.
because the
Leave my
superheroes
Muppets
existed in the
alone.
80s. So I don't want to hear that.
Superman is
I'm
DC.
sorry. I'm sorry. Leave my. You don't have to. My point is, I'm joking about that. But
I'm
my
with you,
point
Jennifer.
is, you don't have to step in on every little thing that really is not, and make an issue out of it, because now we need to see color when it comes to. For me, that's for me.
Yeah.
I,
So I
I
would
just
say that
I just want to ask this question one more time. Why was the Muppets nose purple?
because
Cause,
because
cause these are Muppets.
it's an animated character, and
But
and
no,
I'm
see,
with you.
but no, what I'm getting at is
You
we
wanted it black.
like like Lee is saying we're
I'm
identifying
at
now.
well.
We want
So
to
before you
identify.
start, or did you want it black though? I'm just asking.
I was just why is it that when we portray black people as a
Okay, I
fictional
get what you're
character,
saying.
why we gotta have like if we look at the old cartoons, the black people were about as black as a TV screen and big old wide pink lips and one little twisty curly hair on the top of their head.
Yeah.
And then we go to the Muppets in 2021. Yeah, you black. You got a little afro, but you got a purple nose.
Well, and I would say this, and like it's impossible for the world to try to fix the world. Like everybody's gonna see something different. Somebody will say, "Well, his eyes are too round," or he don't represent me because I'm light skinned," or he don't represent me because I'm darker skinned. I'm with y'all. Somebody said, "What does it matter?" And I hear everybody. I hear the ladies that they're saying that they're trying, and the whole point about trying is when you try. Well, trying doesn't mean you're gonna be successful. That's the key, right? I don't want you to try. I want you to be successful. And the thing is, some things you just got to stay out of because now, if my child, I'm gonna let y'all back in. My child, if he was watching Sesame Street, right? Uh, at the end of the day, if that's his first time seeing them for the last 2 or 3 years, the way they are, and all of a sudden they hit you with a black, that's creating things for my children that they may not be ready to embrace or to take on, right? It's like we keep our kids away from certain things because they're not ready to learn them. And so yet while all is said well and good for the adults to understand, why all of a sudden start this ball rolling for the kids? One of the things, and y'all can have it, one of the things I love about children is their innocence. I don't know if y'all ever seen that meme before about the white kid and the black kid running towards each other to hug each
Yeah,
other.
yeah, yeah.
You know why they're doing that? Because ain't nobody trying to tell them that there's something different. And so
Correct.
that's my issue with this. Although I get it, it's cool. I hear you. Let's not overanalyze, but you can't take away who people are, right? You can't take away people's experiences because I can't invalidate no one's experience, right? So whether it's blackface, again, we're talking about the farmers where we want to try to find the good in it, but the problem is history won't allow us to do so. And that's the issue, right? And so while it's all well and good, I would like to keep innocence
So
at a young age and then let it go. What you got, Lee, and then Ruth, and then we'll move on.
I only got one
Go.
simple statement.
Yeah,
Just to add to it is the fact that I don't want anybody raising my kids. That's my responsibility. And so when they of an age to where they're watching the stuff I want to let my son watch when he was that young, I don't want him thinking about those things until I'm ready to tackle
fair
that
enough.
topic.
I'm with you,
So
Lee.
that's why for me, my son knew there was no Santa Claus. There was
Mm-hmm.
no Easter Bunny. The Muppets were fake. It was good entertainment. And so when it came time to where his cognitive ability allowed me to start to cover certain topics, I explained race to him. I explained homosexuality to him. I explained the more complicated things to him because that's my responsibility. And so that's why I said it's a slippery slope, because we are making something so big over it that for me, it's a non-factor, but that's for me.
Gotcha. Yes, ma'am. Were you gonna say something?
I think when it pertains to children, I was starting. Okay, so I feel like as it pertains to children, Morgan Freeman said it best when he was questioned in an interview of how you would end racism. He said, "Stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it. The relationships that we form with people are the relationships that we form with those individual people. Now, if we keep cramming down our kids' throats that this person may not like you because of your skin color, then that's already going to put an idea in their head that, oh, well, all generalized people like this may not like me for this reason." And then you have this insecurity that builds inside of them. And then they start looking at basically people with just this predisposed hate or prejudice. That's how stereotypes are formed. So with kids, leave them alone. Let them be kids. Exactly that. Don't sit there and start putting stuff in their hand until my kids didn't learn really their differences until they hit middle school. And that's when they started getting the questions. Well, is your mom white, or is your dad black? Is your dad white? Like and it was always just, are you black and white? Not, are you of a different descent? Like, are you it was always, are you black and white? Right. They didn't get that till middle school. And then that's when I was able to explain to them, look, because you guys are fair skinned, this is what people are probably going to question you. You mix with your mama and your daddy. That's how you answer that question. I'm my mama and my daddy, period.
And to the point, and everybody's making great points. And I think what it all boils down to, I don't let TV raise my kids, right? And I always have an answer for anything that's going on with my children, right? Because as well as they can do, nobody's going to ever cover everybody's topic, right? I remember Arthur wanted to start showing same-sex marriages. No, my kid's not watching that. No, I'm not trying to go there. No. Yeah. So it's again, they're just trying. So whatever. So hey, Sesame Street, y'all been around for 50 years. What, 1970? All right. 50 years later, let's see what you do the next 50 years. All right, y'all. Hey, y'all know what time it is, right? It's the segment of the day. Lee, let them have it.
All right, let me holler at y'all for a minute. Halle Berry, Halle Berry. I've been waiting to say that all day. I'm really showing my age, if you don't remember that song. But I picked this topic because say what?
No, look, I said I do.
There you go. There you go. Halle Berry voted one of the sexiest women alive. She's still gorgeous, absolutely stunning. And she's in the news because of toast. And so I think we've got a little queued up thing. There was a morning show where they were discussing toast, how you like your toast. And one of the VJs on there, he equated how he likes his toast, how he likes his attractive women. So Brenton, if you guys have got the little thing queued up, I want y'all to hear this.
Yeah.
What is your what's the number?
I think
it's probably a 7-ish, 6 to 7, probably 7.
See, we have ours, and I may get into trouble for this.
2 o'clock.
I have them to the attractiveness of women that I find to be attractive. So I will never go to a Serena Williams level, but I'm very comfortable with. I'm very comfortable at a Halle Berry level.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I need a little bit of mulatto still coming through. It can't be,
is Gail King that's not in your realm?
No, Gail King is not even on my toaster level. So what is your
what number? What's the number?
You're
I think
setting,
it's
Yikes.
That was the conversation. That in a nutshell. And of course, if you listen to it, the guy immediately says, well, I might get in trouble for this. And he proceeded to make his comments. Well, Halle Berry caught wind of it. Yeah, seriously, Shantae. And she said, this is disgusting. It's ridiculous. This type of nonsense is still being broadcast across the airwaves. All black women are beautiful and worthy. Rob Lederman, get the effer out of here.
Wow.
Now, folks, look, maybe I'm a man, so I might be getting ready to get attacked here in a second. I didn't hear racism. I heard some DJs having fun, talking about a topic.
I heard color.
And okay, so and I'll accept that part if that's what we want to say, because now everything has a label on it. Everything has a label and everything got a cause. So okay, and with that said, he lost his job because of that snippet. Now, for me personally, I think he shouldn't have lost his job. If he offended someone or this and that. Now, if our president say you can grab him by the hoo-ha, and he still was able to keep his job, this man was talking about complexions of toast. On my show, Real Talk for Real Men, we rate women, they rate us, all of those things. I thought it was all in good-natured fun. He liked his toast, he said, with a little bit of melanin in it. I just didn't, once again, it's kind of the subject we just covered. I think we've crossed the line and gone so far over that line that even when we're having innocuous conversations, people want to see race and colorism and you got to lose his job and that's disgusting and this and that. And of course, because it's coming from a celebrity of her status, incidentally, her child support payments have been cut in half. And so she's been carrying on about that, something that's been happening to men for decades, but this is happening to her. We could go into that, but I'm not. So we're talking about Halle Berry and toast. I'm gonna say this one last thing way before you get in there. I'm so glad I work from home now, folks, because it literally has protected my job. On my job, I went through a 6-week investigation from HR. And at the end of 6 weeks and sitting in HR's office with the vice president of the company, the HR manager asked my name and he said, did you say that a woman had nice boots? I said, I sure did. He typed. Did you tell another woman that you liked her hairstyle? I said, I sure did. He typed. Did you tell someone that you thought your boss was attractive? I said, I sure did. He typed. The vice president of the company said, wait a minute. Is what we here for? Folks, I almost lost my job because of boots and hairstyles. That's how far we've come, where we as men don't know anymore what's a compliment, whatever. So I had to learn to say nothing. Nothing. I just think we've gone too far, and that's my take.
Go ahead, sir.
My theory is, just listening to what was said. One question was he white or black?
He's white. Everybody discussing this was white.
And the ladies that's on, do y'all think it was right or wrong? Let's just kind of just poll it right quick.
So
I'm mad that I couldn't go first, saying that I'm a lady. The hell?
Oh no, I thought.
So this is what bothers me, and I get you, Lee, and I understand it. But again, we have made it so okay for other people to say stuff about our people that is now okay. And then I mean, you can date whoever you want to, but the simple fact that he felt comfortable enough to say that about a black woman, any black woman, I got a problem with that, man. Like I just really do. I think it's one of those things where that's and when I went back and I'm a revert back to the last one. Why was the Muppet nose purple? It's okay for society to try to pin the rules and talk about racism, but it's okay for them to subliminally still degrade us, and we think it's okay.
Go ahead,
I mean,
man.
that's just my thing.
Go ahead,
I
man.
love it. I don't
Okay.
agree, but I love it.
So me being the only female on this panel right now, I'm gonna say this, and I'm probably gonna ruffle a little bit of feathers because I'm talking about hens. All right. So when I heard it, I wasn't surprised at all. I don't care if it's a man, white, black, Asian, Puerto Rican, y'all have preferences. And so when I heard it, what screwed him up is the fact that he said it where a bunch of people could hear it. But that type of stuff is said all the time. So here's my solution to this, ladies. Say what the hell you want. Because they do. I do it all the time at my job. If I'm cutting a client and he look good and he look better after I finish, I'll be like, "Ooh, you look like somebody now. I might take you out." Could that be sexual harassment? Hell yeah, but I don't care. I'm going to say it anyway. Yes, we have gotten too far with our men in trying to push our insecurities onto them.
I love me some Rue.
I'm sorry to say this, but being subjected to colorism, when I got to Dallas, when I got back to the States and I moved to Dallas, I felt more hate from my own female counterparts than I did when I was overseas. I never felt that overseas. When I came back here, it was, "Oh, you light skin, you think you cute." So now, because some white man put on the air something that could have been construed as being colorist, not racist, but colorist, then it was, "Oh my God, you shouldn't say that about black women." No, he was voicing his preference. I have a preference. I like chocolate men. I like chocolate men. I have a chocolate man. And I'm not afraid to say that. I dealt with light skins and y'all crazy. Okay? Y'all crazy. So if a man says that about us, it's the same thing. Y'all need to stop being so dang sensitive. Stop it. We all got preferences.
You know, I don't think it's about being sensitive. I just
blow the mic off.
I just think it's about, like, yeah, we all got preferences. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, you know, got my own preferences, but preferences change. But it's the mannerism and tone in which you display what you're saying. I mean,
they were saying it in a joking manner. I got
and that's
it,
the
man.
thing. And that's the thing. I just didn't get that from that soundbite. I appreciate what you're saying. Now, had he said that these were ugly women, but he was talking about toast.
Exactly.
Toast.
I mean, at the end of the day, I'm gonna eat my toast, regardless of whatever color it is. I'm gonna eat it.
Look, but Halle Berry
kind of show, brother. It's not that kind of show. It's not that kind of show.
That's my kind of show.
Ain't gonna talk about butter and cinnamon and ain't that kind of show. That I'm just
look, females that are darker complected, they were hyping on that because, oh my God, it's Halle Berry. But Halle Berry, even for us light skinned folks, is like like she's the example of the most beautiful light skinned woman in the world. Like, I'm even offended when I look at Halle Berry, but I can't get mad when somebody put that out there.
That's why I started with that, because I even surmise, had Cheryl Underwood come on and said, "Oh, I'm offended," he wouldn't have lost his job. But it's Halle Berry, who is white, light, halfway white, and she's beautiful. And oh my God, since she's offended, it must be wrong. So to your point, Rue, I agree with you. The colorism, though, there's levels, but it was an innocuous comment from what I heard. But I don't pretend that what I hear, that what's not offensive to me is not offensive to somebody else. I just don't think he should have lost his job over it. And it hits me personally because I almost lost my job. Yeah. And I was screaming at the top of my lungs, "You're messing with my name. We only get one name in life. So I've been a professional all of my years. I could be walking around here out of a job and have to tell people I lost my job because of our sexual harassment because I said I liked a woman's boots. So on my show, Real Talk for Real Men, we talk about the reasons why we don't understand each other because I don't know anymore if I can compliment you or not. Because if I walk
I like
past
the
and
compliment.
compliment you,
Come on. Compliment me, dang it.
I feel you, Lee. Like, you know, in my profession, we got this thing called sharp. I can get a sharp complaint put on me just because I'm sitting there staring at somebody, and I have PTSD and traumatic brain injuries. I could be sitting there and I just go off into space and stare at you.
Right.
But you might be thinking, oh, he sexually harassed me. What? I didn't even know you was standing there. Or
and I feel like some women need to stop it. Some women really need to stop that. Because it takes away from people that actually have been through that, like in real life. It takes away the effect of what it was meant for.
I know it's Lee's segment, but the name's still on the thing. Y'all, I ain't got my point in yet. Y'all hold on. I was just teasing. I was just messing. Listen, all right. I want to say this. If I had a cruise line and I could put my ship on the water, I would name it the hypocrisy ship, and I would let all these jokers who are double standard, who take a position one way or the other, depending on the way the wind is blowing. I would let all y'all on the ship, right? I think gay people are just as intolerant as legal church people. I think some white people are just as racist as some black people, right? And I think the problem is that history has allowed us to not move into a place of balance. We don't have balance. I feel like this country has, what is that called when you got an earache and you mess up?
Vertigo.
Vertigo. Thank you. That's the color of his nose, wasn't it? No, I'm just okay. I'm playing. I'm playing. So listen. So this is what I'm saying. I think the country is just we are just subject to vertigo, and we just can't balance. Right. And it's all because of everybody's experience. Right. The reason why it hits Lee a certain way, the reason why it hits in a certain way, the reason why I hit Rue a certain way is because of our own bent, our own slant. And everybody has their own slant. That's why we are a ball of yarn, and everything is just going every way and it's creating a knot. So I don't have anything to say about the subject per se, because if I say something, I'm gonna make somebody mad. And you know what? I ain't for it tonight. I ain't in the mood for it tonight. And so it's just at the end of the day, if you got a problem and we ain't on your street, then just punch your ticket so you can get on that boat when I put it on the water. That was a great topic, man. I appreciate it, man.
At the end of the day, man.
Yeah. Well, y'all listen.
At the end of the day, we're all beautiful.
You want to say that for your final thought? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. This is my final thought.
Oh, wait. Let me cue it up. Let me let you have it. So listen, what you say? Every filter's life. I hope I can't read.
Everyone.
Thank you. Everyone filters life through their own experience. Thank you, man. Exactly. I don't know if we went to the same school or not, but yeah. So listen, this has been an amazing show, man. Listen, it's good to see everybody back. I'm glad. Listen, everybody making the stage look amazing. Yes, man. Lee corrected us. I appreciate it. So it's final thoughts time, and Lee, appreciate you for hollering at us. I'm working on another segment, y'all, but she ain't getting no act right, and I'm trying to see if Dwayne gonna do something too. But we're gonna make this thing happen, y'all. So listen, we just one big family here, and we just all at the table chopping it up just like we do in the barbershop. She said, "Also, Rue, I'm loving that hair." Yeah, and she listen, and she whipping it back and forth.
Thank you.
That's what she
Yeah.
All right, so. Final thoughts. Go on, since you already interrupted me. What's your final thought?
What? Oh, my final thought is, yes, this hair is working. It's working. Anyways, So
froze.
my final thought
We
is
didn't see it
yes,
because
we
you
are
froze.
all. Huh?
We didn't see it whipping
I
because you
froze.
froze.
Oh dang it. Anyways,
Thank
so
you, sir.
yeah, at the end of the day, we are all beautiful. That's how I was going with that. And we need to just honestly, I really want to talk to my females right quick. Like for real though, with this harassment and this whole Me Too movement, and at some point, especially in the day that age that we live in, get some freaking cojones. Get some cojones and actually like if it's a real legit issue, then fight. But if it's not, give them a taste of their own medicine. We don't need to have all this extraness going on, like crying and victimizing stuff. I'm really tired of people victimizing themselves because I feel like as women, we are very, very powerful, and y'all are acting weak. And I need y'all to stop it because for the ones that are actually true victims that almost lost their life, you are devaluing that. So I need you to stop it. Show love and defend yourself.
She wasn't doing enough
That's
neck
it.
roll. I had to put something in. What's up, D?
That's
What
it.
you got?
Oh, it's on me. Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, good to see you.
My final thought is, man, don't trust nobody in this world. Because everybody in this world got their own ulterior motives. They'll stab you in the back and they'll leave you for dead, for real. A lot of people, we should stop playing victim and we should just do what we are required to do. And hopefully one day we'll stop killing each other long enough to make a change in this world. And vengeance is not ours, it's the Lord. And again, I'm just happy to be back.
But the Lord said right.
And I let the Lord fight my battles. That's all I'm
Oh,
saying.
she get now. See, okay, Rue got to have all that one since she threw that in.
Yay!
All right, yeah, good
Oh
stuff.
yeah, and on top of that, I like my toast light, dark, and
Well,
with a
listen,
little.
Look. I told you,
hey, you
keep
messing.
on showing that jawline and them muscles. You're gonna be my second husband.
Come on, Black. Come on, Black. Come on.
My
Listen.
final thoughts is
Damn,
That's how you dish it out. That's how you dish
get you
it
a
out
knife.
right there.
If it's too dark, get you a knife and scrape it off.
Wow, there you go. My final thoughts is what the young lady said, that we do all filter everything through our own personal experiences, and listen to all the comments. Look, what I love about us as a people is we're bringing so much to the table because of what we have to deal with each and every day. I want to make sure that we recognize who the real enemy is. We're not going to agree with each other on everything. I have a motto on my show. I say, let's agree to disagree without being disagreeable. And that's on display even when we do these topics. We're all different people. We have different opinions. That's what makes it a mosaic, and we're beautiful. Having said that, I want us to mobilize and recognize there are truly enough real enemies out there that we don't have the crab in the barrel mentality and hold each other down. Let's point the guns figuratively at the real enemies. So I don't want to bicker. It's okay to disagree about toast and the Muppets and this and that, but there are bigger pieces moving on the board that's trying to hold us down as a people. Let's keep that in mind and keep the real enemies in sight. Because as black men, black women, we don't have enough leaders. We need each other.
I'm a leader.
I always bring everything so serious, boy. You're just a strong
I'm sorry.
black.
I'm sorry.
Strong black. My goodness. Yeah, listen, I want to say thank you to my family right here. You guys are awesome. Y'all make this show amazing. For our commenters that are helping us commentate through the week. Lisa B said she like with jelly toasted delicious avocado. Okay, I ain't touching none of that because that just go see Lee on tomorrow or Wednesday. Get ready for all that. Anybody hungry? Yeah. So listen, y'all know I don't like giving up my final thoughts all the time, but I felt like I should here tonight. But before I do, I just wanted to appreciate my people. Lee, thank you. Rude, thank you. Dwayne, thank you. Good to see you. Man, listen, I hope y'all appreciate what we bringing to the table. But let me give my final thoughts away to a very distinguished gentleman from the Carolinas. Go for it.
And people vote. So every time a Republican does anything, we're a racist. If you're a white conservative, you're a racist. If you're a black Republican, you're either a prop or Uncle Tom. They use the racism card to advance a liberal agenda, and we're tired of it. H.R. 1 is sick, not what they're doing in Georgia.
And that's TFG, and I approve the message. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe. We'll see y'all Monday. I'm out.
I love it. I love it.